بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So we were mentioning some stories from the life of Maulana Mufti Mahmud Ashraf Usmani rahmatullahi alayh. So his son mentions that when just a few months before his demise, we were just talking, we were in the family. So he was the head mufti for many years, decades, and he used to sign off a lot of the fatawa. So a majority of the fatawa, or a lot of the fatawa, almost about half or a third of the fatawa, just discussing this, how many of them he signed off that yes, it's a jawabu sahihun. So even in fatawa and giving rulings, you know, the mufti and the ifta system is very, very robust. It's not normal that one person writes a fatwa and is like, that's my opinion, it goes up. Now, if you ever write a question to Darul Ifta, you will see, especially Darul Karachi, you will see you have the question. They stamp that question page so that no, this is the same question that we received. They stamp every single page so no, this is the exact question that we received. And at the end they say who wrote the answer. Sometimes you have a message going on WhatsApp like who wrote it, we don't know. Who wrote the answer? And then each mufti will have their own stamp. And they stamp it and they say al-jawabu sahihun, al-jawabu sahihun. 3 other scholars would say yes, this answer is approved. So giving a fatwa, the matter of fatwa and giving rulings is not very easy. One is simple. I forgot to wash my face in my wudu counted. So you know this is a very easy masla, which is general. When you have a fatwa, which is a case-by-case scenario, is very, very particular. So don't tasarru' fil fatwa. Hasten to like just want to start giving judgment left, right and center, especially if you're not sure, and especially with the case-by-case circumstances. There's a narration in Mishkat where they mention if a person gives a fatwa and a ruling without knowledge, then the sin lies on that person. So sometimes you say something, you give some advice, you give some nasiha, or you give something you don't have a full understanding, or you don't have full understanding of a masla, and you give a masla, or you tell somebody, he acts upon that, comes back upon you if you didn't do your due diligence. If you didn't do diligence and then realize afterwards, then it's fine. There was one person, comes in Muntakhabat, the story, he gave a fatwa, and then a few days later, somebody pointed out his mistake. So then he stopped all his durus, he stopped all of his lessons. And then he hired somebody to go around to all the neighboring villages and announce that on so-and-so day, I gave this fatwa, it was a mistake. And then he announced it. And then after he said, I don't have the energy to do this again. Like so fearful that, you know, I made a mistake in this. So fatwa is a very, very grave issue. So nonetheless, so he used to do tasdeeq. Mufti Mahmud Sahib, he used to do tasdeeq and he used to approve that many of the fatwa. So we're discussing this, how many thousands, about hundreds of thousands of fatwa have gone out from Darul Karachi and how many have you done? So he said to him, he goes, maybe half, maybe a third I have signed off. But then he says that's what I'm afraid of. I have so many of them, but numbers don't matter. What does it matter? Numbers don't matter. What is the thing? Even if one fatwa, I wrote one fatwa, I approve one fatwa, somebody acted upon that one fatwa and they changed their life or it benefited them and Allah accepts it, that's enough. Numbers don't matter. You understand? So remember this, that yes, we have to do, we do multiple a'mal and hope that it increases possibility. In statistics in school, we've done that. If you do more, the more, like for example, if you take good quality, a large number of good quality shots, the more likely you are to score a goal. In basketball, the more shots you take, you're shooting 40% 3-pointers, the more you score, the more you shoot, the more likely you have a high score. So the more a'mal you do, the higher possibility that there is one amal amongst there that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts. That's why we do many a'mal. It's the fara'id, we do them because Allah's command. And nawafil we do, not that these amal are making us worthy of Allah's Jannah, but the more we do, the higher possibility that Allah will say, okay, go ahead, bismillah. I heard another story from my teacher, Maulana Salim Sahib, hafidhahullah. He says that once he was sitting, one shaykh, his name was Pir Ghulam Habib Sahib, rahmatullahi alayhi. And now, nowadays Hajj is a bit more difficult, but many people go for many umrah, and those times Hajj was people go for Hajj very often. So somebody asked him that, you know, like it was well known, he used to go for Hajj over and over again. So somebody asked him, Hazrat, kitne Hajj kiye? So in Urdu, the Hajj kiye is karna, fi'l mutaaddi. How many Hajj have you performed? Yes, kitne Hajj kiye, how many Hajj have you on your own accord performed? So he took a deep breath and he said, Asal mein baat ye hai ki kitne Hajj hue. Not how many Hajj I performed, but how many hue, meaning how many occurred, how many counted, same thing. In Urdu, that's the meaning, how many Hajj actually counted. So doing it is done it. Is it maqbool or not? We don't know. So sometimes you get deceived by numbers. As a teacher, madrasa, how many students do we have? If we have 10 students or 15 students or 100 students, But is it really, how many of them are actually benefiting? How many of you are actually teaching them and they're actually taking some benefit? How many books have you written? How many is maqbool in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If not maqbool, then there's no benefit. How many umrah have you performed? Whatever amal it is, students, exam results, the books you're studying, the number of years you study, the number of courses you have. Sometimes you get to do with it. You have like people like going to this ijazah, have ijazah from fulan shaykh and fulan shaykh and fulan shaykh. So if it is for the barakah of the hadith and the barakah of the isnad, it's fine. But if this is now become your, you publishing, have so many ijazat and all that, this is, ijazat don't matter. It matters, meaning it has its barakah, the proper ijazat. But all of these things, the main thing is maqbool or not. Yeah, so sometimes there's so many people, like, if you look in all of our like people who are, many of the people who are running madaris and things, you ask them, nobody even asks them for your certificate. If you ask, like, okay, Mana Adam Sahib rahmatullah alayhi, where do you graduate from? Most people don't even know where he graduated from. People who know close to him, where do you graduate from? Have you seen the certificate ever that he's graduated? Have you seen the exam results? It's gone, Mana Salim Hafidhullah. Like, so, have you seen your certificate that he's actually graduated? Have you ever seen it? So some examples, if anything. Some people are running madaris. Have you seen my certificate? That I'm graduated. You just start Bismillah for Allah once. Allah takes the work from you. Nobody. So not saying that people do give this. Sometimes you need proof. The committee might need it. The imams might have to show that, look, I am graduate, so that you know. But generally, these don't have any significance. The main thing is, in the eyes of Allah, you do amal. That amal becomes maqbool in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And our ulama and our elders, this is what we always focus on. Not on how much amal we do, but the amal being maqbool. Everybody understand this? Allah give us tawfiq.